بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum, my dearest brothers and sisters, and welcome to this episode of Pillars of Islam with me, Dr. Mehwish Akram Qureshi. Insha'Allah, in this lesson, I will be talking about the best, the highest, and the most important of obligations. I start with the name of Allah. I praise Allah and thank Him for the greatest blessing, the blessing of Islam. I ask Allah to raise the rank of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The best, the highest, and the most important of obligations is to believe in Allah, in what befits Him, and to believe in God's messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in what befits him. One needs to believe Allah is a Dhat, an eternal self, unlike any other selves. Allah is attributed with attributes of perfection that befit Allah. That Allah is one, without a partner, in the eternal self and in His attributes. Now, when we say Allah is one, Wahid, this means that Allah does not have a partner with Him in Godhood. One here does not refer to numbers, because numbers can increase or decrease, be added or subtracted from, and can be divided. For example, to say one person does not mean that this person has no partner in humanity. Rather, it is mentioned in the context of number. In other words, he is one among others. Moreover, others are similar to him in certain aspects. However, when we refer to Allah as one, it means the one who does not have a partner. Imam Abu Hanifa, who died 150 after the Hijrah, may Allah raise his rank, he said in his book Al-Fiqh Al-Akbar, وَاللَّهُ وَاحِدٌ لَا مِنْ طَرِيقِ الْعَدَدِ وَلَكِنْ مِنْ طَرِيقِ أَنَّهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. This means Allah is one, not in the context of numbers, but in the context that He does not have any partner. Among the correct belief in Allah is to believe Allah is indivisible, Al-Ahad. Now, some scholars said Al-Ahad has the same meaning as Al-Wahid, that is, that there is no partner to Allah in His Godhood. And others said Al-Ahad means the one who is indivisible, cannot be divided because He is not a body. Now, linguistically, what does the word body actually mean? It means that which has a length, a width, and a depth. Its length has a beginning and an end. Its width has a beginning and an end. This body is in need of the one who specified it with that specific length and that specific width and that specific depth. And so it is limited to those dimensions. And Allah is not limited in any way whatsoever. Allah is free of limits. Allah is not in need, and thus Allah is not a body. Each one of us is in need of the one who specified us with our dimensions, our length, our width, and our depth. Everybody is in need of the one who specified it with its dimensions. And clearly, whatever is in need is weak and is certainly not worthy of worship and certainly not God. Thus, God is not a body. Amongst the correct belief in Allah is to believe that Allah is existing, mawjood, without a beginning, and everlasting da'im, without an end. Allah is without a beginning, al-awwal, and eternal, al-qadim. Al-Awwal and Al-Qadim have the same meaning, which is the one whose existence is without a beginning. His existence is without a beginning means that his existence was not preceded by a state of non-existence. In other words, there was never a time when Allah did not exist. Allah is the creator of time. And when there was no time, Allah existed. And after creating time, Allah exists. Allah alone is the one whose existence is without a beginning. Only He is attributed with this attribute. The existence of all other things other than Allah has a beginning. All of creation, its existence has a beginning. The sun, moon, light, darkness, time, place, water, humans, angels, jinn, all of creation, the list can go on. It was all brought into existence. Its existence had a beginning. It did not exist and then was brought into existence. Because think about it, when it didn't exist, it couldn't have brought itself into existence. So it's in need. Thus, all of the creation is in need of the Creator, Allah, who brought it into a state of existence from a state of non-existence. And as we mentioned, whatever is in need to bring it from a state of non-existence into a state of existence, whatever is weak, whatever is in need is weak, and thus not worthy of worship, and certainly not Allah. Now, this matter is among the fundamentals of the Muslim's belief, and anyone who believes otherwise is not a Muslim. Amongst the correct belief in Allah is to believe that Allah is everlasting, ad-da'im. Everlasting means the one whose existence does not end. Allah does not die. He will not cease to exist. Allah has always existed and will always exist. Allah is everlasting because that which ends must have had a beginning and therefore must be a creation and not the creator. Everything is in need of God and God needs none. Al-Ghani. Allah is the sustainer, Ar-Raziq. Now, the sustainer, it means the one who gives the sustenance, rizq, to the slaves. Now, sustenance, rizq, includes all the things which give benefit to a person. Now, whether it's from a halal source, a lawful source, or a haram source, an unlawful source, Allah is the one who gives the sustenance, be it halal or haram. Allah is Hayy. Literally, it means eternally alive, with hayah, life, that does not resemble ours. Thus, Allah is not in need of a soul and body being joined together, and is not a life that relates to the passage of time. Neither does it necessitate blood, flesh, or bones. Time does not lapse upon Allah. We as humans go through stages. Time passes on us from a baby. Time passes on us to become a toddler, then an infant, then a child, then a teenager, then middle-aged, then elderly, and then we die. Allah is free of all of this. Time does not lapse on Allah. Allah is all-knowing, alim, with the knowledge that neither increases nor decreases. Allah is the one who knows everything. Allah knows His self, His attributes, His creations. Allah knows the things before they happen. Subhanallah. And we believe whatever Allah will to be shall be, and whatever Allah did not will to be shall not be. Allah, He is the one who does whatever He wills. Whatever Allah will to be shall be, and whatever Allah did not will to be shall not be. This means that everything that Allah willed in eternity to happen must happen in the way which Allah knew and at the time which Allah willed for it to occur. That which Allah did not will in eternity to happen will never happen. So, should an entire nation come together to inflict a harm on you that Allah did not will to happen to you, it will not be able to harm you. Likewise, should a nation come together to benefit you with a certain matter that Allah did not will in eternity for you to benefit from, it will not be able to benefit you. This is also amongst the fundamentals of the proper belief in Allah. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in several ahadith narrated by At-Tabarani, Abu Dawood and others that anyone who holds a creed contrary to this is not a Muslim. No one can escape sinning except with Allah's protection, and no one has the ability to obey except with Allah's help. The statement La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah is a statement that the Prophet ﷺ taught us to say. It is mentioned that Abu Ya'la al-Mawsili related that the Prophet ﷺ explained this statement to mean, without Allah's protection, no one can escape sinning, no one can evade sinning, and without Allah's help, no one has the strength to obey Him. Allah is powerful, Qadir, and nothing can disable Him. He's Qadir. Allah is the one who has power over all things. He is not powerless over anything. And Allah is attributed with all proper perfection. Allah is attributed with all the perfect attributes that befit Him. Here we say befitting perfect attributes because among the perfect attributes, there are those which are perfect in relation to mankind, in relation to the humans, but are imperfect when attributed to Allah. For example, intellect, nice voice, a strong body, when attributed to the creatures, to the creation, yes, they are attributes of perfection, but they are not befitting to attribute to Allah. This is why it is said, and Allah is clear of all imperfection. This means that Allah is clear of any of the attributes of creation, because every single attribute of the creation is a sign of imperfection, is a sign of weakness, is a sign of need. So Allah is free of bodily characteristics such as color, shape, motion and stillness. This is why the people of truth, Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, said Allah exists without a place, because the one who exists in a place must have a limit, and everything that has a limit is in need of the one who specified it with that limit. And as I mentioned before, whatever is in need certainly is not the creator. This is why Allah is clear of existing in any place or any direction. We do not say that Allah lives in the sky. We do not say that Allah exists in the direction of above. We do not say that Allah exists in all places or everywhere. Rather, we say and believe that Allah exists and He does not resemble other things that exist. Hence, Allah exists without a place. Al-Bukhari narrated this Sahih hadith that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, كَانَ اللَّهُ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ شَيْءٌ غَيْرُهُ, which means Allah eternally existed and there was nothing other than Him. So, this means that Allah existed and there was nothing other than Him. It makes it clear that Allah existed and there was no time, no place, no space, no air, no direction, no above, no right, no left, no in front, no behind, no earth, no sky, no darkness, no light, no soul, no spirit, no language, no body, no color, no created thing. If somebody said that Allah is with us in terms of place, then their words go against the ijma', the unanimous agreement of all the Sunni scholars of the past. Shaykh Fakhruddin Ar-Razi, who died 606 after the Hijrah, in his tafsir upon the Quran, he conveyed the ijma'. He said, the ijma' has been established upon the saying that Allah Ta'ala is not with us in terms of place, direction or occupancy. So, Allah is neither in one place nor in every place, and Allah is not in one direction nor in all directions, just as Imam Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi said. He said, none of the 6 directions contain Allah. Allah is not in the directions of ahead, behind, left, right, above or below. And thus Allah is neither inside the creation and connected to it, nor outside the creation and disconnected from it. The sound intellect confirms that thus Allah exists without a place. And 2 questions can illustrate this simply. Number 1, who created time and place? The answer, Allah. It is confirmed by the Quran that Allah created everything. Question number 2, following on from that question. If it was asked, prior to the existence of time and place, did Allah exist? The answer would be yes. So, Allah existed prior to the existence of time and place. And after creating time and place, Allah exists without being bound by time and place. So, it is confirmed intellectually with the mind, with certainty, that Allah existed without a place before the existence of place. And after creating the place, Allah still exists without a place. So, Allah does not have a before or an after, an above or a below, a right or a left, an anterior or a posterior, a whole or a part. And it's not said about Allah, when was He, where is He, or how is He. Allah existed and there was no place. He's not restricted by time or specified by place. He's not preoccupied by one thing that prevents Him from doing another. He's not specified with having a mind, in other words, the need to think, and He cannot be imagined in our minds. There is nothing whatsoever like Allah, and He is the one who hears and sees everything. This is the meaning of the verse of Surah Ash-Shura, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. It means that nothing resembles in Allah in any way whatsoever. He is clear of resembling any of the creation, tangible, what you can feel or otherwise. Allah is different from the humans, the angels, the lights, the spirits, the sun and the moon. He's not similar to the creation in any way whatsoever. He sees and He hears. Allah hears, as-Sami', all hearable things by an eternal and everlasting hearing which does not change. without need for any ear or any instrument. Allah sees al-Basir, all seeable things, by an eternal and everlasting sight, without the need for a pupil or rays of light. Allah is a Dhat, an eternal self, unlike any other selves. Allah has the attributes, sifat of perfection that befit Him. Allah exists without a beginning, and everything else exists with a beginning. He is the creator, and everything else is the creation. The belief that everything other than Allah is a creation is among the fundamentals of the creed. And anyone who believes that something other than Allah exists without a beginning is not a Muslim, as I mentioned before. So some people believe that the kind of the universe is eternal, that is, that its existence has no beginning, just like the late philosophers such as, and also Ahmad ibn Taymiyyah. In his book Tashnif al-Masami', Az-Zarqashi narrated the consensus of the Muslims, judging the one who believes that the universe is eternal, that it exists without a beginning, are not Muslims, they are blasphemers. Allah Ta'ala yatakallamu literally means speaks with an eternal and everlasting kalam, divine speech, that does not occur in batches one after the other, nor does it consist of breaks or interruptions, and it is not composed of letters or sounds, and it's not a language. The kalam of Allah does not resemble our speech. The speech, kalam of Allah, which is the attribute of His self, is eternal. It has no beginning, just as all the attributes of Allah. It does not have a beginning and it does not have an ending. It is not letters. It is not letters which occur sequentially. The speech of Allah is not similar to the speech of the creation. Allah revealed the Quran in the Arabic language to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a miracle. The Quran was revealed in the tongue of His people, and it is an expression of the kalam of the Dhat of Allah, the eternal self of Allah, which is His attribute. Now, these revealed words are also called the kalam of Allah because they were not authored by a human being or an angel. So to make it more clear, if someone wrote the word Allah on a board and was asked, what is it that he wrote? He would answer Allah. Now his response doesn't mean that those letters that he wrote, A, L, L, A, H, are the self, the Dhat whom we worship. No. Rather, he means that this term is an expression referring to the self whom we worship, who is Allah, the self who does not resemble anything. Likewise, the terms revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are expressions of the speech of Allah, the attribute of His self. Now, both the attribute of the self of Allah and the revealed expressions are referred to as the speech of Allah, and both are referred to as the Quran. So, it is not permissible for one to believe that the speech of Allah, which is the attribute of His self, the speech which Prophet Musa alayhi salam heard, it is not permissible to believe that it is a language, Arabic or otherwise. Such a belief is a misguidance because it entails likening Allah to the creation, and Allah is not like the creation in any way whatsoever. Allah is absolutely unlike all the creations in His self, in His attributes, and in actions. And insha'Allah, I hope you can join us next week when we will continue talking about the personal obligatory knowledge of the religion. And I hope you inform others about these lessons and listen to them on YouTube. And Allah knows best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.